And what happened to me today was I was in a waiting room where there was people, men and women. It was the syphilis treatment center. No, I'm joking. I don't have syphilis, but it was a waiting room where there were women there. And it was a waiting room that took a long time to get things done. So a lot of people brought their laptops and other things. And there was a girl who sat near me who was very good looking. Like, she was really cute. I mean, it's a wood bang. And she was, I would guess, around 20. And when she sat down, she took out a notebook. And then she opened that notebook. And I can tell through the floral handwriting, it was some kind of school notebook. And she had like 10 different highlighting colors. You can tell it was some kind of class that she was taking. And so I thought in my mind, she wants to study. While she waits for this thing, which I was waiting for as well, and I know you're wondering what that is, but I can't tell you. While we're waiting, she was thinking, I'm going to study. And while she was studying, I was watching YouTube. I was watching the Joe Rogan and Alex Jones interview, which you must watch. That was a great interview. So had one headphone on, but I'm always aware of my environment and what's going on. So she takes the notebook out, and I'm looking at her. And she was a good-looking girl, 20, trying to study, but she wasn't doing a good job. Why? Because she had her phone. She overlaid her phone on the notebook. So imagine a girl with an iPhone or whatever phone that was trying to study with her phone right on top of it. So in other words, she was failing. She wasn't studying because she was going through all the text messages, and she wasn't on Tinder at least, but she was going through all this stuff and trying to study. I was like, I'm looking at it and I feel pained. I feel hurt because it's like, this doesn't make sense. You have a girl in her fertile prime, the most fertile that she's going to be in her life, trying to study. And that made me think, what a waste of human resources, human capital, human everything for women who's intent on this planet. Intent that nature or God, whatever you believe in, their intent is not to study stupid shit. It's not to study to be accomplished. It's not. It's to make babies. I wrote an article called, I'll link it down below in the show notes, the 3 purposes of women. And those 3 purposes are reproductive sex. That's the main purpose. It's to have sex that creates life. The second thing is raising children. So whatever life they made, to raise it, allow it to survive. And the third thing is homemaking, to make a home comfortable for her husband, her children. And I'm sitting near this girl, a beautiful girl, again, who should be having beautiful children and satisfying a man who feels proud to have her as his wife and feels proud to have babies from her, studying bullshit. And then while she is studying bullshit because the culture has empowered her to replace her man with a job, replace her man with government welfare, government programs that push her into work, we have a man who is around her, let's say, who has to spend literally thousands of hours of work and energy on how to date her. So while you have a woman spending untold hours learning how to essentially be a man, how to be accomplished and successful as a man, you have another man spending thousands of hours learning how to date her on top of the work that he has to do just to have a good job. And I kind of got sad. I got sad because what a waste. What a waste that our grandfathers, even our fathers, didn't have to do. How many hours have I spent learning game just to get laid, just to have a token intimacy, a simulation of love? And how many thousands of hours have women spent educating themselves in something that a man of less intelligence than them can do better? Because men are crazy. Men can focus, man. Men have focus. This woman couldn't even study. She couldn't even study because she had her phone. The temptation of the phone, of distraction. I'm writing a book right now, and it's hard. I'm not going to lie. But I can do it because I'm a man. I'm sick. I focus. I'm sick. I am able to silence the environment completely to write and focus on this thing, and not even, there have been stretches I've gone to write this book. I haven't even talked to people for days. I haven't even been in the outside world. I'm like a zombie. Like, just book, gotta write book. Girls, they don't do that. Girls, they're just not made for that. They're not made for that. But we're pushing them into that, and it's so retarded. It's making me angry. It's like, what a waste. You're forcing women to go against their nature, forcing men to go against theirs, throwing them in a sexual marketplace where the worst of each sex comes out. The worst. Women are becoming sluts. And men, I think most are good men. They want one girl. But you have 20% which are players that screw everything and have the syphilis to prove it, which I don't have that. And you have 80% of men who don't get anything, nothing, and they're addicted to video games. And you're thinking, why the hell is this? And I believe it's because we unleashed the nature that women have. Women have always been how they are. They have the same DNA as they've always had. But we have unleashed it by giving them options, by giving them education. Can you tell me right now, and leave a comment if you can really tell me why we need to educate women, that what do men lack that we need women to work for outside of being a teacher, and even that, and being daycare worker or some kind of childcare or nurse? Why? It doesn't make sense. Unless you control the means of production and capital, and you need labor to be lower, and you need to allow women and men to compete for jobs, to split them, get them in constant fighting. Unless you need to do that, which I don't need to do. I'm not at the top. Unless you need to do that, there's no logic to it. Ask yourself. I'm going to ask you right now. Besides telling a woman to read and teaching a woman to read and write, 8th grade education, why do we need to teach them more? And don't give me that egalitarian bullshit. Oh, because opportunity and all that stupid shit that you've been brainwashed since you were in public schools. Even if you consider yourself having taken the red pill. Why? Give me logical reason why we need women in university. Why that they should be focused on studying, which they suck at. Which we need, we need to completely change institutions of university and work to allow women to be comfortable. Imagine that. Women are so handicapped at doing what men do that they need to rewrite the rules just so they feel comfortable, just so they feel safe. What I'm saying is they were not intended to do what we're making them do. That girl I saw in the waiting room today, her nature is not studying. It's not. She's beautiful. She should be having babies. She should be having a lot of babies. That's what her nature, and I would respect her more if she came in that waiting room with 10 babies than studying highlighted notes, and she can't even do that well. Because that's not what her nature told her. It's a waste, man. I look at all the time I spent with game, and I wrote about all my experiences and my stories. What has it got me? I'm 37. I'm going on 38. I don't have kids. I don't have a family. Wow, I have internet fame. I have a way to make a video and a few thousand people are going to watch it. And that's it. It's a waste. My grandfather on my dad's side had 25, 26 children. Yeah, he had 4 wives at the same time. If he was alive right now, he would look at his grandson, me, and be disappointed. Because by the time that he was 37, God knows how many kids that he already had. And I have 0 that I know of. And it's because I don't want to escape the blame, but I was raised in a culture which doesn't allow women and men to pair bond in a healthy way to have children. That's the point. to have a family. It's hard, I get it, but the alternative sucks. The alternative is wasting time with bullshit. It's a dead end, man. It's a dead end. It feels good. Anything you do, sex is good. Look, sex feels good. And sleeping, if you're a man, your nature calls for you to sleep with new girls, to hunt. That's what your nature calls for. And you can do that, but it's a dead end. And a woman's nature calls for her to seek out the highest status man, to keep going, but it never ends. For both of our natures, it doesn't end. That's why Christian monogamy, while imperfect, it makes sense because it limited the natures, the destructive natures of both sexes to share the pair bonding, to create families that are healthy and good, and that are good for everyone. But now we don't really have that. And I'm telling you, I saw that girl study and something, I snapped inside of me. I snapped. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. We don't need women to be doctors, to be accountants, engineers. Give me a logical reason why. Why? We don't need it. Do we have a shortage of men that we need women to work? We don't need it. And if you ask people on the left, why are we educating girls? They'll give you these emotional answers. Equality, it feels good, but it's bullshit. It's all bullshit, people. It's all bullshit.